Destiny 2 raiding is a hell of a time, and any of you that have participated in the activity know that. For those who haven't raided or are newer to the game, just imagine getting 6 best friends together and throwing them at difficult puzzles in order to get some shiny loot. Sounds fun, right? Right? I have so much fun with my friends while I raid. Anyways, now just imagine also competing to get the first clear of a raid on the day it releases. I shouldn't have to say it, but it ups the stakes just a bit. Those of us that have competed within day 1 raids, myself included, know that it puts a new stress on the idea of raiding as a whole. You have no guides to go off of, you have no ideal loadouts, and you have to figure out how to do the encounters without pretty much any outside help. On top of this, day 1 raids are harder due to contest modifiers, which, to sum up contest mode, it adds a layer of difficulty to raids such as increasing enemy damage and health, and adding champions to the raid as well. So what's the point? Why do people sit for upwards of 20 plus hours just to get the first clear? What does it bring other than the bragging rights and the neat raid belt you get for being the first team? The mental strain it takes has a toll, and it can be seen, so why? The mental weight of being first drives teams to continue on, and I think to show that, we should look at the 2 hardest raids that have been added to the game, Last Wish and Salvation's Edge. Clan Redeem, which was the world's first team for Last Wish, cleared the raid in 18 hours and 49 minutes. Salvation's Edge was cleared by Team Parabellum in 18 hours and 59 minutes. Many other teams attempting the world's first on these 2 raids took over 20 hours. My point here is not to tell you how these teams beat the raids. If you're curious about that, I encourage you to go watch Evan F1997 and his videos on the corresponding raids, but rather what I want to show is the feeling of accomplishment that is brought to all the teams that compete in a day 1 raid race, and how even one encounter being complete can bring a level of accomplishment that is just never before felt in life. Starting with the raid Last Wish, it was a turning point in Destiny history. Never before had the community spent so much time on a single raid, trying to figure out all the mechanics, and for some it was too much, but for others it challenged them in new ways and pushed them to be better players. Focusing on the day 1 winners, Redeem, I think that they show the best example of how it feels to win, specifically the content creator Sweatsickle, who I will let explain for himself.
Oh, hey there! Today is September 14th. For those who don't know, this is a very special day for me. This is the 4-year anniversary of the Last Wish release, the day that changed my life forever. In celebration of this, every year we like to go back and watch the 1-hour version and just react to how cringe I was back then.
This alone, a day that changed his life for the better, and how it pushed him to be one of the faces of Destiny content creation. I can't even imagine a better feeling. Of course, he may not have known then that this would skyrocket his career, but of course now he does. Salvation's Edge, on the other hand, was not something that was expected. The community was a little let down by previous day 1 raid difficulty, but Salvation's Edge reminded the community of the ass-kicking that it got back during Last Wish, and humbled some rather confident content creators. Salt. With this raid, I don't want to focus on the feeling of victory as that's been covered with Last Wish, but rather what the titan of Destiny content creation, the myth, the man, the legend, Dado had to say.
This encounter was like I am completely washed. I'm ass at this. Why am I even on this team? Moment for me. Really. Like, I was ready to hang up the uniform because of this fight on day 1. I've never had a fight make me feel like that in 10 years.
This sentiment is reflected in more than just Dado. If you look at the Reddit mega thread, you'll see comments on the difficulty of the encounters, and how the blueberries are going to need to sit this one out. I mean, not everyone can be Bog on my dog and solo the final encounter. Seriously, what the is this? Like, I have 2,000 plus hours on this game, and I can't tell you what the hell is going on. Okay, so obviously maybe day 1 raiding isn't for all Destiny players, but it's worth more than a shot to at least try once. For some, it'll change your life. That might be an exaggeration. Others, it may make you want to punch your monitor. Maybe me. But even if one encounter is being completed, even if you're not the first to do it, it feels great. What feels even better is if you're one of those teams that does manage to beat the raid on day 1. You get a cool emblem and some bragging rights. Who doesn't love to boost their ego? Day 1 raiding in Destiny brings a level of emotion that is rarely felt in even all of life. A feeling of accomplishment and victory, or a feeling of trying to be the best player that you can be. That emotion drives players to continue to day 1 raid, even if it makes them want to retire. Of course, day 1 raids don't happen all the time, but the next time a raid gets announced, I hope that you give it a shot and you see how it feels. I bet you'll be pleasantly surprised by the excitement that it brings. Of course, it'd be wrong of me not to mention today's sponsor.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends. Start now for free.